What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome back to Love and Rice podcast with your host, Aunt Ma.
I'm your other host, Christina.
First off, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy
We
New
are in
Year.
2025. Can you guys believe
That's
it?
crazy.
Um, damn, 24 went by really fast. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys have not subscribed in 2024, please do that now. And if you're new here for 2025, welcome, guys. We are on all podcast platforms. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We are also on Amazon, Instagram, and TikTok. So please subscribe, follow, like. Let us know what you want us to talk about in 2025. We'd be happy to. And I hope you guys enjoy what we have for this year. So, once again, welcome to 2025.
Yep.
All right, so the whole world just finished their winter break, their holiday break, and usually, like, we went through a lot in the last couple weeks. And usually we stay home for the holidays. We stay home, we have family come over, we have friends come over, we spend Christmas, New Year's here in Vegas. And this year we decided to go on a little vacation.
Yes.
And,
And I think we decided to do this trip because we initially had plans to travel out of the country
yeah.
and to go to Asia. But
You got to remember, our goal for 2024 was to travel to new places.
exactly.
Right? And so we kept going with that, even with like 2 weeks before the end of the year. We're like, we got to go on another trip.
Yep.
Just one more.
We almost did not meet our goal that we set for the year. And I like that, although it was very last minute, we kind of booked something within like a day or two and we made it happen.
I Googled the top 10 places to travel near Las Vegas. Okay. And I wasn't sure if you're up for it because you were on your solo trip in LA for almost an entire week where I was at home with the kids. And so I didn't know if you were too tired to go on a trip right when you come back.
Yeah. So, this is the first time that I went on a solo trip, right?
Yep.
Without you and the kids. And
no, you went on like bachelorette or type of thing, birthday type of thing.
That was a
like
long time ago though. Yeah, and it was just for the weekend. But then usually nowadays, like if I have a choice to go somewhere, I'm usually like, no, I can't because I gotta stay back, gotta take care of the kids, and needs to work, da 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 da. Always making excuses, right? But I think this year I was just like, you know what? We always talk. we always
We always do that talking.
that was so Bobby. But we always talked about growth and doing things that are out of our comfort zone. And this year I was just like, you know what? The kids can't go, Aunt can't go. I'm just gonna ask my sister if she wants to come along.
Yeah.
And it that little like spur of the moment that I had, like it worked out, and we took this trip. I had time to spend with my family. I also went to go help out with our agency's charity gala, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty nervous, I'm not gonna lie, going on my own, because usually when we go to these events, it's always you and I, and we're socializing and meeting other people. And this time I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to do this on my own.
Yeah.
But it was a really good feeling, like just doing my own thing and getting out there,
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I couldn't go with you is because you had to go from Tuesday to Friday.
Yep.
And the kids have school the whole week. And obviously, I don't want them to miss the whole week of school, right?
Right.
And so, were you surprised when I was like, hey, maybe you should just go and I'll stay back and take the kids to school, jiu-jitsu every day and their other classes and things?
Yeah, because usually that doesn't happen. It's usually you're the one that's traveling for work and I'm the one that stays back and takes care of the kids.
Well, usually when I travel for work also, I travel for one day.
True.
Like I'm either back the same day or I'm back the next afternoon.
Yeah, so I think for me, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, oh, well, the family can't go, so I can't go. I just gotta stay back and
But
stuff.
why have that mentality?
Yeah, I know. That's why I changed it. After you said it, I was like, duh. Like, why don't I just go? How come I just stay back, you know? So I think because you put that out there for me, and I think I was in a good headspace too, to be like, how can I make this work? And I think just piggybacking off of that suggestion and kind of going from there and trying to figure out ways to make it happen, like it did.
I think a lot of people have this trouble in relationships, especially men, is that every time we're not with the women, we're always thinking about the women, and then we feel guilty when we're doing things without them. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And so guys are always like, nah, I don't, I can't go eat with my boys. I can't do this with my boys because I got my girl at home. You know, you start feeling guilty, but it's like we should really think about, I don't know, how it makes the person feel when they do need to go by themselves.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's more of a mature thought process of like, you know, she needs to go do this for us, for our business, right? You
Right.
need to go and show your support at the charity gala for yourself
Yeah.
and
I'm
for
representing the
me,
both of us.
you're
Yeah.
representing our family,
Right.
right? And then it's like sometimes you also need to get away from the family.
That's true. Yeah, it's that mom mentality. Like you always have that mom guilt whenever you have to think about leaving, even if it's just like going out of the house to like do something for myself, right? I'm
Right.
like, oh no, like how is aunt gonna deal with the kids and
Yeah.
stuff?
I think there's a difference in the type of trips that you take solo, right? Like if it's for, you know, someone's gonna get married or someone's birthday or a work event, I think those are all fine. But when
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm just gonna go for the weekend, it depends. Do you need the reset?
Yeah,
You
it
know,
has
or
to
are
be
you
for a
just
good
or are you
reason.
just gonna go party? You know, that type of
Yeah.
thing. Like there's yeah, like you said, there has to be a reason. And so that's why, you know, when you were there, you drove to LA with your sister and then you drove back
Yes.
by yourself, which
Yep.
you've never done.
Right.
Right. So I was like, I don't know if Christina's gonna want to go on another trip in like 2 days,
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
know?
It was just I was just vibing off of everything, and I literally came back on a Friday and you're like, "Hey, so are we going to go to Arizona because we I haven't booked anything, you know, cuz you're so
Yeah.
busy with the kids." And I was like, usually I'm like, "No, I'm tired. I just got back, like I literally haven't
Yeah.
unpacked yet." But this time I was just like, "You know what? Just don't say anything to me. Like if you want to go, let's just go. We've talked about it. This was a goal that we had. The less information you give me, the better, and we'll just go. So I don't make up any excuses for us not to go."
So when I looked up, you know, the top 10 places to go near Vegas,
Yeah.
everything was like, you know, Utah, Grand Canyon, LA, Big Bear. You know, we've done all the California, Utah trips. And I'm like, you know, we haven't done Arizona. I don't know what's really out there, but what stood out to me was Sedona.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's so special about Sedona? So, you know me, I went down this rabbit hole of researching what's so special.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found these something about there's just something so special about Sedona, and it's known for hiking, right? That we didn't know about. Like we knew nothing, and then I started learning about. Well, there's so many different hiking trails and mountains that we can go to. What is so special about hiking? Because we can do that here in
Right.
Vegas, right?
Yep.
And it started talking about vortexes. I was like, whoa, okay, wait, what is a vortex, right? And then that's when I asked you, and I was like, hey, after doing research, I found out what a vortex is. You know, let me tell you what it's about and see if you're interested, you
Yeah.
know? So let me explain what a vortex is, guys. A vortex is Sedona is known for high energy, energy that can be absorbed, energy that gives out, any type of positive energy. It's just there's a vortex is think of a hurricane or tornado that's swirling, but it's in this spot in Sedona where it just swirls and the energy is swirling nonstop. And that's what Sedona is. And so that energy that swirls, it can help you re-energize, it can help you recharge. You know, we found out that certain mountains of certain hike trails have different types of energies, right? And I think when I told you that, you're like, oh, I'm
I was
down,
like,
right?
yeah, yeah, that's the that convinced me because I'm very into these things and like spirituality and trying to be like one with nature. I sound so hippie right now, but like I love doing things like that and I like exploring the outdoors like of any place that we go to. So
Yeah.
once you told me that, I was like, okay, what are these vortexes? How many are there? What is the hike like? And let's figure out which ones we want to hit up.
Right.
And I didn't realize, I didn't know there was a Sedona in Arizona. I knew there was one in California.
Wait,
But
there's a Sedona in
isn't there one
California?
in
No. There's
California?
a Sonoma
Oh,
in
Sonoma.
California for like drinking wine.
Oh, okay, never mind. I always thought Sedona was somewhere else. I didn't know it was in Arizona. But basically, like once I figured out that it was like more of like a spiritual place with a lot of like high energy and stuff. Are you still laughing about the Sedona
No, no. In
comment? I
my
see you
mind right
staring at
now,
me.
I'm laughing. I got up. I'm not listening to what you're saying. I was thinking in my mind. I was like, wow, that was a weird laugh that I did. And
Oh.
I'm like, what is that laugh? So I was just thinking about my laugh. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, okay. I was like, why are you smirking at me like that? But I actually, yeah, I thought Sedona was in California or somewhere else. Um, but basically, like, just knowing that that's what that area was all about, I was like, I want to go to those because I'm always into like going to retreats. We did a wellness retreat this year for the
Yeah.
first time. We've never done that before.
I mean, I don't know if I believe in all this stuff, So let's get straight to like what the mountains were, so people
Okay.
can understand and follow us. Basically, there's one mountain or hiking trail called Cathedral Rock. There's another one called Mesa Airport. There's all these, there's like
There's
four main ones, right?
Bell Rock.
The city itself of Sedona has high energy that you'll always feel while you're there, but those four mountains that you hike have special energies. One is like for um it helps with decision making, success, and focusing on manifesting and things like that. Then there's other ones where it helps with emotional thought process, negativity, and things like that. So there's like masculine energy, feminine energy, and what is the third
The
one?
other one was like a combination of feminine and masculine, trying to like balance both.
This is just called balance.
Yeah, pretty
Something like
much.
that, right? So
Yeah.
like you get to hike them, and as you get closer to the mountain, that's where the vortex is, and that's where you feel. And so that's where you're supposed to chill at that spot, and you're supposed to manifest, you're supposed to meditate and just absorb the energy, and it goes out. And it's like I read a lot of the reviews. Half the people said this is a scam. This is just people trying to make money off tourists coming here and things like that.
Well, I think it's more of a scam if you go with the tour guides because these
Mm,
people who are doing these tours, they probably charge you a lot. And
right.
you're like, okay, well, I want to do this. Like, cool. Here, let me give you all my money so that you can show me all these vortexes. But I don't think the vortexes itself is a scam.
I think it's a scam if you do not go there with an open mind, and if you do not believe in fixing yourself and rejuvenation and just all those energies. You know what I mean? Like, but if you do have the open mind, like you may feel it, you might not. I mean, it just depends. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
So we picked, what was the first hike that we went on?
It was Airport Mesa.
Airport Mesa. So, okay, that one was really cool. It was really easy for the kids. That's what we were researching. What can we do with the kids that wouldn't be too strenuous for them? And we did, what was it, like less than a mile, right?
No, it was a little bit more than that, I think.
It was really short and fast.
Yes. But usually people like going to this one because it's closer to the airport, so you get that view of it.
Yeah.
And then also it's the most convenient to get to. Although I think one of the cons was that there's just like maybe 10 parking spaces or something, right? But that seemed
Right.
pretty easy. Like we just kept seeing people coming and going.
It was fine. The reason why I chose that one was, one, because it was easy for the kids, and then two, it was really aligning with my goals for 2025, which is helps with the decision making and
Like clarity.
yes, and trying to figure out what it is that what my goals are, and to really hone in on that goal.
Yeah.
So that energy that I was trying to absorb from Airport Mesa was for that. It was masculine energy for that type of mentality. And so, when we actually did the hike, did you feel the vortex? Did you feel the energy? Like, how was it for you?
Honestly, I feel like usually when I'm hiking anywhere and if it's like not too busy or loud, like you can kind of feel something and I always just assumed it's like, oh, it's just cuz we're hiking, we're out in nature,
Yeah.
like it's just like that connecting with like earth, right? But then like for this one, I felt some kind of energy, like it felt different. And I don't know if it was a mental thing, like who knows, but it did feel very different. And I think because the hikes were different, the scenery was different, like everything about it was just like very unique. And it wasn't crowded where we were. Like we went off and went on our own trail and like hiked up the mountain because we were trying to get closer to the Vortex, and I think it's kind of crazy that we had the kids do that with us, but like it was really crazy.
No cap. By the time we were at the
No cap.
hotel, yeah,
Yeah.
no cap, right? That's what all the kids in 2025 are saying. Um, it damn, you threw me off.
Because you threw me off with a no cap. I've never.
I said it.
Sometimes.
Cap,
Okay. Okay.
no cap.
I don't see. I'm not hip enough to understand what that means anymore.
All right. No, but seriously, by the time we got to the hotel, my body was already feeling a little different. Like I had this tingly sensation, and it was literally felt like energy was running through me. But I am that type of person that I got that weird shit that I can feel for some reason, right? And so when we're on the hike, like I wanted to go off the trail and get closer to the mountain. Like you can't really get to the top, or you can, but not with kids. So we went as far as we can, and like we were just touching the wall of the mountain, and we just started, manifesting and stuff. And like I, the thing that I felt more was just peace.
Yeah.
It was peaceful. It was quiet, and it just felt good. It wasn't like I felt like I was getting thunderbolted and lightning bolted by energy and stuff like that. Like that's not what it is. It's just I just enjoyed the hike, and I just enjoyed th- being relaxed.
Yeah, and I think that also like kind of what you're saying before is that you have to go in there with the right mental state,
Hmm.
because you're going in there and you're like, okay, well, I have to be able to like fully release and relax and be able to absorb everything that's like around me, right? Because usually when us as humans, like when we're going around and we're doing all these things, we're just like trying to get from point A to point B and trying to like get things done and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But I think going on this hike, you have to be ready to just like take it all in and not focus on, well, I got to do this first, I got to climb this, and you know what I mean?
I mean, it was a little hard. Like as much as I try to focus, it was hard because we had the kids,
Right.
and trying to the kids like to do a lot of things on their own, and we're on the edge of a cliff, and we're like, right. So
Mhm.
it's like it was a little hard to try to be grounded, but overall it was
We
fine,
made it work.
right? We made it
Yeah.
work. And so the next day we went on another hike, and we did a different one, right? It was called
Bell Rock.
Bell
Yes.
Rock.
This is the
And
easiest for kids.
before we went on this hike, I suggested, why don't we go to a crystal shop? Because Sedona is known for all these crystals and stones. And if you guys don't understand this, stones and crystals, all different kinds, have all different types of energies to help you feel balanced with what you want, right? And so I was like, let's go to a stone shop and a crystal shop, and just maybe if we buy something and go on the hike, we'll feel better. Like I had
Yeah.
no idea, right? I was just really trying to play into it and really feel the best I can, and
And this coming from a person who usually does not think about these things or believes in it. So I thought it was kind of cool that you were kind of like embracing the area and knowing that that's what Sedona was all about. And you're like trying to find the best genuine kinds, because we went to a few on our trip, and then you can tell that some are very commercialized. And then like some of the employees, they don't really know what they're talking about. They're just kind of working just to work.
Mhm.
But then the one that we went to, like specifically, that one was a cool one. Like that seemed like the most genuine experience.
So the reason why, not that I gave into all this, but the reason why I wanted to experience all this was because, every time I see people at a higher level than me, they are on this spiritual adventure, the
Yep.
spiritual world stuff, and they're always meditating and whatever it is. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let
Mhm.
me try this out. And so, we looked at all these stones, and I picked some stuff out that I just felt like uh, it made me feel good. And so here I got these on, right? I got these stones on. These are bracelets. They could be rocks, they could be necklaces, they could be anything. And for me, I just didn't want to put a bunch of rocks in my pocket all the time. And especially because I have my phone in there, it's gonna scratch at my phone and stuff. So I'm like, all right, bracelets are cool. Like I'm never that guy that that goes on a tourist trip and comes back with bracelets because I feel like the bracelets they're just not for me.
Yeah.
But this time I'm like, this is the only way I can actually have these stones on me all the time. So I went with the bracelets. But what I got is, I'm gonna pull it up. So I got one, this dark one right here is called Tiger Eye,
Yep.
right? And I have this. I took a photo of what everything meant on my phone.
That's so funny because people are gonna be watching this episode and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, what happened to these guys? Like they went on
What?
this, they got this spiritual awakening, and now we're
No,
just."
no, no. It's not even like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think you know what it's coming from people who are usually very cautious and skeptical about things and kind of like just taking the leap and trying to like get to the next level of whatever it is, and like trying to just like do some inner healing.
Yeah. So this is why I felt like Tiger Eye was a good stone for me. It helps with charisma, confidence, motivation. It improves overall health. It improves one to radiate their inner lights, helps accomplish short-term, long-term goals, healthy digestion, and elimination. So I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. Let's give it a shot, So that's what I have. Then I also have on my left side, it's called yellow calcite. It helps with relaxation, good luck, positivity, manifesting prosperity, family bonding, and promotes education. And the thing that stuck out to me on this one was family bonding and positivity, because um, I just want to be able to get to this level of um, when I'm with my kids and you to be able to just have a different type of feeling and connection while I'm with you guys,
Yeah.
And so I do feel like ever since I got this yellow calcite stone that I'm able to be more calm with the kids and really, enjoy being in the moment with them. I don't know, it's just because I'm thinking about those things, but maybe that's what it is
I
too.
think
Who
that's
knows?
kind of what it is too, because you're bringing more mental awareness to things because it's so easy to be distracted and thinking about other things and all the stuff that you have to get done and whatever
Yeah.
else, right? Or checking your phone, whatever it is. So it's like once you're in that mental state, like you're kind of focused on that.
I'm just uh yeah, I don't know. It was just it feels great when I have the stone on me and I'm with the kids. I'm just able to be more present with them. Um, then I got something else on this arm, and it's called yellow fluorite, aka gold fluorite,
Mm.
and it helps with unity, intellect, creativity, increase understanding, aligns minds and goals, and amplifies creative intent. So those were the three stones that I got, which I felt like it was something that I wanted for 2025, and
Yeah.
and yeah. So then we went on this hike with them, and then you got some stones too,
Yeah, I
right?
did.
And
They're actually in my pockets too. I'm not gonna go through all of them because I feel like there's so many of them. But like, basically, when
dang, you pull that
yeah.
out of your
So
pocket.
I have the tiger's eye too. This is what it looks like in this form, in its natural form.
And we spent time away from each other at the shop picking stones,
Yeah.
and we both picked Tiger Eye without even knowing.
Yes. Yeah, because basically when you go into these stores, you're basically supposed to hold each stone or crystal in your left palm because this is the receiving palm, this the sending palm. But
And let me say one thing is, like, we
so
look
pretty.
crazy as fuck right
That's what I'm
now
saying.
with these stones, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something, okay? I started looking up like stones on watches, and I found that Rolex made a watch, and the dial had Tiger Eye in it, and right now it's worth $48,000 because that's how rare it is. And if Rolex can make a stone and a dial because it's good for you, like, I don't know, that must mean something.
But is it good for
But is it?
you? Where
I
is
don't
it
fucking
coming
know.
from? Where are they sourcing it from? Like, or is
Who
it just more of a
knows?
marketing scheme, right?
Who
Like,
knows?
I think that's
But
why there's so many skeptical people.
but there's not like other watch brands that make this. But
Yeah.
Rolex does something that has reputation, and they wouldn't harm their own brand
Yeah.
by doing something that's fake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying, So Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Usually, I had stones, and it's more of like just buying it online and then having it sent to me, but I don't really know where it's coming from. So having this experience, I think I came in with an open mind, and I was just like, okay, we'll see what happens. Like, and if this person who is working really does have that like spiritual side of him, I'll just wait to see what he says to me, or I don't want to keep asking, because I feel like the more you ask someone, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna feed off what you're saying and be like, well, you should get this or this or this.
Right.
And I felt like that wasn't the experience. Like, he kind of let us go on our own to figure things out. And then like I think I became more of a believer. That makes me sound crazy.
Okay, let me tell you something that was crazy that I saw happen. When I was in the store, Christina was talking to the guy that was there, and he looked very spiritual and stuff. And at some point, she was crying. Okay, she was crying and talking to the guy, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" Okay, like why were you?
Well, I think
What was going on?
because I was just on my own, and I was trying to figure stuff out, and I was trying to like resonate with the stones to feel like if there's a connection with it. And I think I was just like, and this is probably what a lot of people do and believe. I was like, so what if like I grab a stone and I don't feel a connection to it? And he's like, well, it depends. Like that just means it's not meant for you right now. And I was like, okay, well, what if I want to get one just because like I heard it helps with migraines? And he's like, well, then you're trying to find something specifically to help you with something like this, but it's actually more of a deeper meaning and deeper awareness that you have to have. So you have to be like, you have to have an understanding that like, yes, I have a migraine, but I can't rely on just like this crystal to help me to get rid of it. And I was just like, well, I don't know. Like, I get migraines a lot. And then he took me back to one part of the store where there was a stone that I looked at before already. And I was like I was holding it in my left palm. I forgot what this is called. Dang it. I don't want to butcher it. It was like lepidolite. Let me see. Yeah, lepidolite. So basically, like I had this in my hand, and I was like, okay, well, it's so gorgeous, right? But it didn't, like, I felt nothing. And then he was like, okay, well, and I didn't tell him that.
Mhm.
I had no idea. And then he took me back here, and he was like, try this one. And he went to go help someone else, and I was holding it in my hand, and I got really hot, and I got like sweaty, and I was
Weird.
like, that's so weird. And then he came back. He's like, oh, so how does it feel? And I told him, he's like, okay, well, it's already like doing what it needs to do for you. And then like we went back and I was paying for everything. And then he was just looking at me, and he kind of gives you like words of wisdom and tries to give you advice based off of like the energy that he feels off of you. And he's just like, it's okay to let go of things. Like that might be hard for you, and you're probably not sleeping well at night. I'm like, yeah, I always wake up and I have a hard time sleeping. And then he's just like, you just gotta release stuff and whatever. And I was like, what do you mean? And then the emotions just came out, because I'm like, yeah, I hold on to everything, I take everything in, and I don't release it. So I think when he said that, I was just like, oh, okay, I'll let it out.
That's when you
And
started
then-
crying.
yeah. So I was like, how do you even know? Like I didn't say anything, and it's just
Yeah, that was
interesting.
a trip. That was a trip.
Yeah.
And so right after that store and doing all that, we went hiking at Bell Rock.
Yeah.
And Bell Rock was known for masculine energy, feminine energy, and the balance to ground you to earth. And so we did that hike, and it was so high up the mountain. Leia just wanted to keep going higher and higher and higher, and I was getting scared. But it was probably the funnest hike,
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I just felt like going on trips, and especially this trip, was definitely helpful. Like what's the point of for us going on trips?
I think for us, I was saying this the other day, because I feel like trips are necessary, and I think that's how we kept our sanity, like even before having kids, because you get used to this like daily routine, and it becomes repetitive, and you're always worrying about all the things that you need to get done. So then all the stress builds up, and you're just stressed every day, and the feeling doesn't go away, and it keeps adding on. You're like, well, I got this done, now I got to do this, and this gets added on, and it just becomes too much, where it's like you need to set time to take a trip somewhere, wherever it is, even for a weekend, because you need a reset.
Yeah.
Because your mindset is always going to be the same when you're just in the same place all the time. But then once you go to a new place and you're experiencing things that kind of like bring that joy back, you're just like, oh yeah, like I needed to get away and put my mind on something else and not worry about like the daily stressors. And then I feel like after that, coming back, I have more clarity, and I don't know, it's because of everything that we did, but yeah, I've just realized that that is pretty important when it comes to taking trips. Like you just need to take a break.
Yeah, I did forget about that because pre-kids, we were going on vacation once a year.
Yeah.
So we went to Hawaii, went to Japan, and things like that. And like I would always come back recharged and refocused.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about stones and mountains and stuff. Like going to Hawaii is like there's so much peace.
Yeah.
You just feel great when you come back. And so you try to hold on to that energy for as long as you can while you're back for
Yep.
months until you have to go back on another trip. You know what I mean? So like going on vacation is so important. And if you guys don't take these little trips, like going to Arizona, we just drove, 4 hours, and it wasn't far away, and we just spent like 4 or 5 days there. Luckily, because we were on a winter break, but I definitely feel much better now that we're back.
Yeah. Yep.
But what's hard is that um, we're still the kids still haven't gone back to school yet. They're still on a break.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gone back to focusing on work yet, which
Yeah,
is
that's always the hard part. And I think that's why a lot of people don't take trips, because you're like, oh man, you're in vacation mode and you have to come back and get
Yeah.
back to your responsibilities. But once you get over that hump and you get back into things, like I feel like the mindset is already different,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm still in vacation mode though.
The What was the best part about your Arizona vacation for you?
I think the best part for me was kind of just like doing things on my own now. I think after the California trip, I was just like, yeah, like this is actually kind of nice, because I'm always worried about like, oh, well, I got to include other people in what I'm doing. And like the hotel that we stayed at was kind of
Mhm.
like what would you call it? Like
It's
a
like almost like a spa resort.
yeah. So basically, they had yoga classes every morning, and then I got to go. Like, I woke up early and got ready, and I just went on my own. And it was nice to just be able to like meditate and relax and like have time to myself and come back feeling like recharged and ready to deal with the kids, you
Yeah.
know? And then after that, like, I think because I did that, I felt good. And I was like, okay, well, I think I can handle like trying to bring Leia to do yoga with me.
Hmm.
So that was probably my favorite part.
Well,
Um,
Leia asked if she can go,
she
right?
asked, and then I was just worried because I'm like, it's an hour long. Like, I don't know how her attention span's gonna be. But I'm glad that I brought her, because it was kind of like a bonding moment for us, and to kind of see her get into it. Like, she was really focused and she was trying her best to get into the poses and stuff like that.
Like, do you do that with your eyes closed or
You're
eyes open?
supposed to.
Were her eyes closed?
It was in the beginning, but then sometimes like we'll just stare at each other because I'm like, oh, I wonder how she's doing, and I look at her and I'm like, man, I can't focus,
Yeah.
trying to do the poses, but I'm also looking at her and I'm like watching her and I'm like, this is so cute, like she's growing up, So I think
Wow.
it was like the bonding and trying new things together in a less stressful like space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was just experiencing new things and just doing stuff on my own.
So we took a trip so we could de-stress from the kids and work, right?
Yeah.
And your favorite part was actually the yoga with Leia.
Yeah.
And my favorite part was going to Arizona with the kids.
Oh, yeah, that's
So like
right.
our favorite parts were still doing things with the kids.
Because, well, I guess it's different because you're doing stuff that's out of the norm. So it's either you stay at home, you go through your regular routine, and you're dealing with the same shit with your kids and getting
Yeah.
frustrated and stuff because you're stuck, or you go and deal with the same things in a space that's more
Enjoyable. Yeah.
and then it just makes things a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was the difference. We didn't feel stuck.
Yeah, I really loved doing Arizona with the kids. If you guys have never heard of Arizona, there's this place in Arizona called Arizona, and it's like an outdoor drive-through zoo. It's filled with bears, wolves. What else do we see there? Um,
Um,
sheep. No, is it sheep or
not sheep. What are they called? There are mountain goats too, right? I
mountain
think.
goats? There's just a
Yeah.
bunch of animals, and you're literally driving through like it's Jurassic Park, and these bears are walking around, and you got to roll your windows up so they don't come into your window. But you just watch them in their habitat, and it's so awesome to see. And the kids loved it. They were able to, unbuckle their seatbelts and just ride in the front with us while I'm doing it because we're going like, 5 miles per hour, and there's
Yeah.
a line of cars going.
It was kind
And
of nice to see them like not be caged up, right? Usually
yeah,
when you go to the zoo and seeing them like enclosed and stuff. So this was kind of cool to see them in their natural habitat. And then some of them they can walk up to the car. They're a reindeer,
oh
right? They
yes,
they were
reindeers.
walking up to the car and we're just like staring at them, hoping that they're not gonna like scratch the car or anything like that. But it was
That
like
was a cool
it was really cool.
experience.
Yeah.
I love that part the most about our trip. So it's like, experiencing all these new things is what's fun when you go on a trip. You come back and you're like, there's growth,
Yeah. Yep.
because of the new things that you've done. So um, we got to stick to our goals of 2025 of going to new
Yeah, I
places.
think that's the mantra. Like going to new places, experiencing new things. Um
Yeah, so it's not about all the spiritual things that we went through on the trip, the stones and all that crap,
it
and the
helps.
and the energy.
It,
Because no matter what, we're gonna find a new place to do new things, and doing the new things is what's really cool.
yeah, and I think it's like you set the goals and we talked about this in one of our last episodes about what you want to accomplish for the year or short or long-term goals. And I think we did this trip to help us align with those goals
Yeah,
more. So you find things to support you in what you're trying to get done.
I feel like every place we go on a trip, there's always some sort of spiritual thing that involves the trip.
Yeah.
So like when we went to Japan, you go to the temples. There's a golden temple. There's
Mhm.
castles, and all that stuff is all spiritual when you go, right? You can
True.
feel the tranquility and the peace. And then there's like when you go to the temples, they tell you to write down the things that you've went through or the things that you want to happen, and you put it on the wall at the temple. In Japan, like there's that we did.
Yeah.
When you go to Hawaii and you go to
The beach.
the beach, or like
That's so
like
therapeutic already.
even like when you watch like the luau's and stuff and their
Yeah.
traditions, you're like, wow, this is really spiritual as well.
Yeah, you're
And
embracing all of the cultures that you,
right, so
yeah,
wherever you go, you
encounter.
embrace the culture and the experience, and it just really helps you when you experience that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope everyone that's listening to this podcast can also do the same and go go
Make
experience the
time for
world.
trips. Yeah, even if it's just for like a few days, like you got to have that reset. And I think that's kind of what happened with the pandemic. Can you believe it's been like a few years? But I
Hmm.
think with everything that happened there and no one was able to travel, like I think everyone went crazy and now everyone's traveling and getting out there. And I feel like we're kind of almost becoming normal again.
Hmm.
Not quite yet, but we're kind of leaning towards that path,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Man, what a great trip that we had.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So, once again, happy new year to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please give us a follow and like, and hey, comment down below if you know about these stone stuff or not, or if we just sound like some crazy
We sound
people.
pretty crazy, I'm pretty sure.
A little bit, a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
All right, guys. um, Make sure to subscribe and follow us on all podcast platforms. We are on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also YouTube, Instagram, and
And TikTok.
TikTok.
Yep.
And so we'll catch you next time on the next episode of Love and Rice.